Hello, and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Last time, I thought there was a picture in the Fox that went out on a chilly night that showed the inside where the tobacco was drying. This story takes place in, it says in Massachusetts, in New England, near the Connecticut River. And so it's not a place I would normally associate growing of tobacco. But there we are, very labor intensive, has insect pests, which some farmers would have people killing. Sometimes sprays were used to counteract the various, there's a big range of insects and different countries might have different requirements on what can be used and what can't be used in terms of spray. The Legend of New Amsterdam. What an amazing book. I mean, in terms of history, New Amsterdam in 1660, 35 years after they first came. And one thing that's sometimes fun to do with books that are picture books is to look carefully at the pictures. Like, I was looking at this picture. I've looked at this book before, but never noticed that this First Nations man was pointing. And then I sort of followed where he's pointing, and I said, what is he pointing at, I wonder? And try to figure out some things like that. Ask yourself questions as you go. Better for you to ask questions and perhaps somebody else be asking questions. Anyway, one lovely thing at the back of the book is this. 1660, as I say, 40 years after the Pilgrims came, this was what New Amsterdam looked like. And it's quite fascinating. These different blocks have all keyed over here. Tells you which house, who lived in it. They did a census, who lived in it, and oftentimes what their occupation was. For instance, in this house right here lived the first midwife to come there. And in this house over here, number 10, lived the man that was in charge of taking the ferry boat over to Brooklyn. His first name was Egbert. I remember some other books about Egbert. Makes me smile. This wide street later became known as Broadway. And this street that was built along the defensive wall in the north, here's north that way, was called Wall Street. So just a tiny part of the Manhattan Island as it grew, but it reminded me of this book about the Brooklyn Bridge, taking a ferry boat to Brooklyn. And the ferry boats, they might have 5 or 6 ferry boats working back and forth and back and forth, but it was often slow passage, and especially in the winter, if it was a cold winter and the river was frozen or frozen up above and ice floes were coming down. And one man had a dream. He was an engineer and a bridge builder, and he had a dream. As his name was, well, I had it somewhere, John Roebling, and his son Washington was involved, and his wife Emily was involved. So it's quite a book. I'll show you an interesting map picture. Here's a map picture, sort of a bird's eye view at a distance, and here's lower Manhattan, and here is Brooklyn. So there's ferry boats crossing, but it's certainly been built up. And you know, for instance, a question might be either with that book or this, you might think, well, how did it change from being New Amsterdam to New York? Was there a war? Was there how did they do that? How did it happen? And you can look it up now that we've got the internet and find answers to lots of things. I wanted to show a couple of other books that he's written as well in this Mother Goose library because of songs. Hooray, we're outward bound, and if you like, based on boats from the area around Devon, Plymouth, and from France. Lots of detailed sort of history there, and lots of lots to look at. And in the lots to look at, and lyrics, things to think about. So it's a neat book. Here's another one. And So My Garden Grows, in that same series, and again, lots of information at the back, and then amazing gardens, amazing kinds of gardens. He also illustrated some books. This is a book, I didn't know this till I looked him up, that he had illustrated The Little Riders. It's a wonderful, well, it's a wonderful story about the Second World War in Holland, and it's by Margaretha Schemin, Schemin, and his illustrations grace the inside, but the story itself, it came out in paperback as well. So, and this in paperback and hardcover, the cow who fell in the canal. Peter Spier illustrated. Phyllis Karasilovsky. If you want to check on the book, check it by its title. I won't spell her whole name, and please, I beg you to forgive me. Written and illustrated by Peter Spier. Spier. People. And I marked a page in here I wanted to show you. This is not nearly all the world's people can read and write, yet there are almost 100 different ways of doing it. And I, at some point, hope to make a video on alphabets and nearly 100 different alphabets around the world. So more than one option, more than how can one say this is the only way or this is the right way? There are solutions that people have come up with, and they're different. And we should always be looking for different, I think, looking for different options, new options, different ways. Let's think of it. Can we think of any other way we might solve this problem? And make a list of them and weigh them, you know, what are the pluses, what are the minuses. Anyway, that's just me talking, an old-time teacher. Thanks for listening to me, though. And next time I'm going to have a pile of books to share with you. I hope you'll enjoy it. Until then, bye for now.